Back. It's session number 9, and for some reason today we just have lots of Donnas, and this is Donna Casper. Give her a big hand. And just for the first few minutes, she's going to play her teenager, all right? And she's even got her gum in so she can smack her gum a little bit. And yeah, very good. Oh, I'm digging it already. All right, and I'm going to play a parent and play Donna, although I'll be Donna with a low voice. All right, so, and tell me your daughter's name.
Allison.
Allison. Well, Allison walks in. She's home from school. Hey, Allison.
Hey.
How's your day?
Good. What time did you get home last night?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to know?
'Cause I just need to know what time did you get home last night, Mom.
Well, why do you ask?
Come on, Mom. What, you're afraid to tell me what time you got home?
Kind of. You're kind of intimidating me a little bit here.
Well, that's... What? What's wrong with that?
I'll tell you what. I'd be glad to tell you what time I got home.
Oh, good. I'm listening.
But I'd like to know why you want to know first. Just tell me that, and then I'll answer your question.
'Cause I just want to know. I just want to know.
Okay. Are you talking about when I got home late, like after you were in bed?
Yeah. What time did you get home?
11:30.
Kind of late.
It is?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's late?
Oh, no. What were you doing?
Well, I told you I was going.
So, who'd you see? Tell me.
I saw all the people at Bible study.
What'd you talk about?
We talked about our Bible study.
What else did you talk about?
Well, we talked about how the families are doing.
Okay. What'd you eat?
What time did you get home last night?
I stayed home with Dad. Remember? It was boring.
It was?
Yeah.
Allison, did you miss me?
No.
No?
No. I watched TV.
How did you get along with Dad?
Fine. We were upstairs. We just watched the movie.
So I'm just curious. I answered your questions, and I'm just curious. Why were you so interested in knowing what time I got home? And let me ask it this way. Is there a way perhaps that you feel unfairly treated, like with time and accountability and asking you where you are? Do I make you feel that way sometimes? Because I know that when you ask me all those questions and you really lean forward and you were asking me all those questions, it kind of made me feel a little bit like, and I wonder if I make you feel that way.
Yeah, probably sometimes.
How do I do that?
I don't know. You just do.
Because have you ever heard the expression, Allison, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, they say that especially in places where they grow apples.
That's funny.
Yeah. Like Washington.
2 points.
2 points for being funny.
Yeah.
But I bet you, I'm guessing I maybe do some of that to you. Because you did that awfully well. You were good at that.
Probably.
Okay, so how does it make you feel? Can you give me an illustration when I kind of grilled you like that? That's what they say in California, grill you.
I guess when I'm on the phone with my friends sometimes, you ask me, I don't really like that.
Do I interrupt you?
No.
It's like afterwards?
No.
When do I actually enter into your space and kind of invade your space and inquire? Like get in your face? When do I do that? After you're off the phone or on the phone? What do you do?
No. I mean, like, you wait till I'm done with my phone call.
And you feel like I'm invading your world?
Kind of sometimes.
Can I ask you a question? I just went to a seminar this last weekend with a guy with a funny name from California, and
What was it?
it was on how to be a better parent.
No, I meant, what was his name?
Oh, Milan Jurkovic. Can you believe that?
That's a funny last name.
It is a funny last name. Funny first name. He gave me this in my little notebook, and it's a feeling word list. And when I ask you those questions, tell me, just like, give me a couple of words to how you feel, because I want to learn to be a better parent. Okay? And a lot of the emphasis of the seminar was not how to fix your kids as much as it was me being a better parent. So this is one of the things I learned, and just indulge me for a second. What's a feeling you feel when I invade your space and ask you lots of questions? And I'm going to write them down.
I don't know. I guess I feel annoyed. Sometimes I feel like I feel irritated. I think those are the two.
Why do you think I ask you who you're talking to on the phone? Now, I'm not asking you to defend one thing. As a parent, why do you think I'd even ask you that question?
Well, I know it's because you care. I mean, I know that.
Yeah. But I'm doing it in a way that feels invasive to you, and it means like to invade, and I'm annoying you, and I'm irritating you. Now, I know that when I was a kid, I used to get very irritated at my parents. I mean, being a teenager is a really difficult thing. How old are you, Allison?
13.
13. Did you know in 5 years, you're going to be a legal adult? Just 5 years. And sometimes, is she the firstborn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes, you know what? I forget you're going to be an adult in 5 years. And I still am guilty of looking in the rearview mirror and seeing little Allison in the backseat with a Happy Meal. And I still see you through that lens. It's hard for me to watch you change and realize you're going to be an adult. And sometimes maybe I over ask you questions. And I've been thinking about that while we've been talking here, and I realize I'm kind of a scared parent. They were talking about parents that can be scared sometimes because we worry about our kids. And that may be why I do that. But is there a better way I could ask you about your friends and not be so invasive and annoy you and irritate you? How could I do that? What if you were going to give me advice, what could I do to be less annoying to you?
Maybe ask it when you're less stressed.
So that may confirm my suspicion that I think that sometimes when I get scared, I get stressed and I start asking a lot of questions and I might lean in a little too hot.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right, I'll try and do that. I'll try and ask you, and it'd probably be better if I didn't ask you right when you got off the phone, huh?
Probably.
Okay. But you're open to talking about your relationships with your friends?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind. I like, they think you're cool. I don't mind.
Nice.
That's not cool.
All right, then. I won't do that anymore, especially in front of your friends.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's really not cool.
Yeah,
all right.
No.
Well, good, because I've learned something here. What I'm going to try and do is I realize, Allison, I had a very, you've met some of my family, but it's a little...
No, I haven't really.
You haven't?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then if that's the case, because I don't know that, this is real time. I'm just learning here as I go. That was out of roll. Okay, now I'm back in roll. You know, you never met my family, and I don't think I've told you much about them, but it was a pretty wild place. And there was no it was kind of crazy, and I was always stressed, and I was always asking a lot of questions because I didn't know what was going to happen next. And I think sometimes as you pass through that age of 13, and I was at 13, I got a little wild at times myself. And I think that may be contributing to why I was and am now. As I think about it, I just think that there's really a link here. And it's kind of unfair for you to be the lightning rod for my stress. And so I'm going to try and do that. And would that help?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Is there anything else I do that bugs you? Besides, give people 2 thumbs up?
I think you're really judgmental. I don't like that either.
Well, let me go back. When I did that 2 thumbs up and you say that's not cool, do I ever embarrass you in front of your friends?
No. I don't care about that.
Okay. All right. I'll still try and keep the cool-o-meter clear. You know what's cool and what's not clear.
Yes, that's not
cool either.
No,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how am I judgmental?
You know, you say things about my friends. I don't like that. And I've told you that before. I like my friends, and I don't really want to hear your opinions.
How do my opinions make you feel? Judged? That's what judgmental means. Anything else on that little list?
I think I feel bad for them.
So you kind of want to defend them?
Yeah.
If you feel bad, you kind of want to defend them?
Yeah. I mean, I know you like them.
Yeah.
But it still bothers me that you have feelings about them.
Do you see the best in people? I mean, like if some of your friends are having problems, are you kind of like you want to pull alongside of them and help them and see the best and encourage? Always?
Yeah. No matter what.
No matter what. So
no matter what.
You might be defending those kids no matter what and loving them because you see something and then maybe other people don't see. I come along and point out something and that really bothers you.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Oh. Do you think you encourage them?
What do you mean?
Are you a positive influence in their lives, and are you an encouragement to them? Like maybe their parents aren't, their families aren't, the kids aren't, teachers aren't?
See, that's what I mean. I don't like when you do that.
What, ask you a question?
No, like I don't like that you said about like their parents.
Oh.
I don't like that.
Why?
Because I don't like that. I don't think that's very nice of you.
Well, no, I was asking if they didn't have loving parents.
But that's what I'm trying to say to you. I'm saying it's not for you to judge.
Oh, I get it. So that even feels like a judging statement to you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Okay, I get that.
I mean, that's not, I mean, I know you care, but I don't like when you do that. That makes me feel really bad. And I don't like when you do that.
Have I ever questioned you in a way that makes you feel bad?
Probably.
I'm trying to learn here. And I'm also trying to be the parent. So I know you always see the best in people. Now let me ask you a question. You're 13 years old. You're going to be 18 years old. Have you ever heard of the expression red flags? Like it's this expression that red flags mean to stop. You know, it's like a stop signal. And my concern sometimes for you, Allison, is you might not see the red flags in people. You're so sold out on wanting to help people that you might not see something that could end up getting both you and that other person in trouble someday. And so sometimes I think part of my alarm is that I may see something in a person, and if I bring it up to you, how would I go about bringing up a red flag to you? If I saw one.
I don't want you to go there.
Well, I tell you what. God gives me a responsibility of being a parent, to help guide you and train you and lead you, and I've made some mistakes, and part of the role of a parent is to help guide their kids and to help them learn what red flags and problems are. And I'll tell you what, I think we've probably had enough for today. But later this week, when we talk about it, later this week, I'd like to talk to you at a time that's good for you. But I'd like to talk to you about how I could come along and tell you my concerns in a way that it would just to tell you my heart and to tell you what I see. And would you be willing later in the week to have a discussion like that and just think about it and pray about it between now and then?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, good. Thanks. Mm-hmm. How'd I do?
Pretty good.
I thought you did great too. You are, they have quite a performing arts center here in the Missouri area, mid-Missouri, and so you could get in there and you could be quite the gun-popping kid.
I still have it.
I know you do. You still have it. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, how much does your daughter, like we did with Harold and Donna just a little while ago, how much does your daughter trigger you?
Well, when Harold and Donna were up here, this is hard.
Okay.
Because I think
you can stop if you want to anytime, all right?
Okay. I think one of the things I realized was, I did come from a really chaotic background. And I turned into a controller, but I was the victim as a child.
Oh.
And I realized that when she was talking about her daughter, 13 was really a really rough age for me, because that's when a lot of the sexual abuse was at its worst.
Oh.
And I guess when I watched my daughter, I see that.
Sure.
And it was like a trigger. I mean, I was watching and I was like, oh my gosh, because I see her developing, and I think I'm not responding well as a mom to know how do I still allow her to be a kid and be sassy and be a teenager. And I look at that toolbox of mine and I think, I don't have it some days. And so I think that was really quite lethargic of me to realize that when she leans in and she starts questioning me, I could never do that to my parents. That was out of bounds. So I don't have that tool in that toolbox to know how to do that. And when I was hard to stay in character because I wanted to watch and memorize everything you said to be able to go, this is what I need to say to her so I don't injure her.
Wow.
Anymore.
Wow.
That's not my...
Wow. Now, just take a breath. And that was a really hard thing for you to say. And more than that, it was a hard existence for you to have as a child. It's really very, very hard. And there may come a day when you sit down with her and share with her your sexual journey. As frightening and as ominous as that may sound, it may be the most liberating day of your life and hers. Because it really explains why she feels the judgmental, it explains why she feels interrogated, because you're so alarmed by this age where you were taken advantage of, didn't have the ability to have a voice, you were victimized and you couldn't push back, and you were steamrolled by person, maybe one, or I don't know, I'm not asking you any questions, but you were steamrolled by others. And that's a horrible place to be. And no wonder you would be reacting, as a parent, reactively to anything you see as your daughter begins to develop, turn into a young woman, and start to get sassy with all of that. And you go, oh my gosh. And then, as is true with a lot of kids, they intimidate us, with their sassiness. And she has more entitlement than you and I ever had together, girl.
Right.
And she, I could have never said any of those things that I had to learn as an adult. And so I could see why it could just, do you ever freeze up around your daughter, just kind of not know what to say sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely was like Donna too, where, when she grills me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, what Jesus did. He did what I did with you. Oftentimes people would ask him a question, trying to pin him in a corner, and say, well, let me ask you a question. And he would try and create a little buffer space, just to even slow the person down just a little bit, and to find out their real meanings and their real intentions. And I see in you a great heart. This is a tremendous opportunity as your child passes through the same developmental stage that was extraordinarily difficult for you, just intolerable. For you to help take her through that stage through some opportunities of confession, empowering her, giving her the opportunity to ask you questions and to find out what it was like to be a little girl in your house. Sometimes our kids don't understand our histories, therefore they don't understand our reactivities. And it can be a good thing for them to share that journey, because eventually she's going to need to learn how to manage her sexuality and what the fears, and that dovetails right into what I was asking you. What if I see red flags? And if she's an idealistic girl, she doesn't want to hear any bad news about anybody, she can easily get pulled into love and romantic interests and those kinds of things, and end up in some of the same places that many of us as adults have been in as well. So Donna, thank you for your time here, and let's give Donna a big applause. Did you have anything, Phil? Did you have something you want to say, Donna?
Oh, I just think it's such a great example of how we do get triggered at certain ages. If we have trauma in our own life and our kids become that age, we can they're kicking up our own past, and we don't always like that. And so we can, it's really important to see that. So good insights today.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Take a hug.
Yes.
Thanks.
Appreciate that.
Good job. Are we going to do holding time?
I guess we are, since you said we are.
Well, I don't always just say what we're going to do, but we have just one more minute, and we've been talking about it. So why don't you get here and I'll get here, and I'm just going to for a minute pretend I'm Harold, and that you're Donna. Okay? So we're going to go back to that familiar place, and I love this couch. Looks like a '57 Chevy, doesn't it? It really does. I'm getting excited up here. For two reasons. It's the back seat of my Chevy. Okay, that was Mylan's past. I feel better now. So, honey, I realized that nobody came at you in a caring way, and nobody came at you gently. Your dad and your brother brushed you off, and I can't believe, as you retold that story at the conference, I can't believe how much your mom was so controlling. I had forgotten how much you didn't want to be a nurse, and I'm so sorry that you had to have that background. And I could see why today you'd still get very anxious and get really angry when your kids press in and come at you aggressively. And I just want you to know I see that, and I care that that's there.
Really? Like you really care?
Yes, I do. But let me tell you, it scares me. It really does, because I hate conflict. I will avoid it at any cost. And to do this, write this, like right now I'm shaking and I'm sweating, and this is even hard for me right here. And I want to know, it's kind of like staring at a scary movie. I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it. And so there's a part of me that wants to, and I just want to tell you I care, and I'm going to try to care and see you in that place.
Well, I don't blame you for being scared. It kind of scares me too, but I do realize I have a lot of my mom, and that feelings about her still really ruling my life, because every time Ellen comes close, I just feel, even physically in my body, what I used to feel with my mom. And I realize that is a place of no one ever really saw or understood or comforted.
And I just learned this weekend, and I never really got this, that when you get triggered, we lose our ability kind of for a minute to be the parent. I mean, you feel little inside, you get flooded, you want to throw up, and that's a rough time to try and be the adult. And I get that. How could I help you right then? When you're not doing well, in that instant you're not doing well, how could I help as a dad?
Maybe just remembering that I feel small, and I don't know if this would work or not, but we could try it. Maybe just, we could have some sort of code word where, I don't know, maybe like, is this a sevens moment?
Yeah. Or I'm just even the number 7 or something, just to let me know. And then what would you want me to do if you told me that? Help with Ellen?
Maybe just come give me a hug, or help with Ellen. Or I know I'm so worked up by that point, though. I need to just try and slow down and realize the feeling that she's giving me isn't really about her, it's about my mom.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try. I'm going to try and be on your team for helping Ellen. And I know Ellen overwhelms me too. Okay, so I'm going to do everything I can to kind of lean in and practice some of the stuff we learned this weekend, and I'll do my best.
Thanks.
But I want you to know I see you.
Thanks. Okay, Harold. Your turn.
I don't want to.
You know what? I know you don't, but nobody ever got you when you were a kid either.
No. Ooh, I don't like this.
Well, how does it make you feel?
The guys at the shop would wonder what the heck I'm doing right now.
How about this is just our little secret?
All right. Don't tell anybody.
I won't. I'll really keep this between us, because I know you're breaking your childhood rule to have to be in control and independent and on your own. But I guess what I really realized this weekend was the conflict in your house really, really upset you.
My mom and dad, fighting, and they called it discussions. I was so upset all the time and agitated. It really, really, I was upset all the time.
Oh, it just makes me so sad. And they fought since you were how old? I mean,
I can't remember when they didn't, and I vowed that I was never going to do that in my home. When I made that vow early in my life, not going to go here.
And then here we are. We're here.
I'm still here. And I realize I cut off a part of what is supposed to be there, and I need to gradually try and get that back a little bit. And I don't want to. It doesn't feel natural, but I think I need to.
Well, you said something in the seminar that nobody ever saw you either, really. I mean, they didn't know how anxious they were making you.
No.
And nobody ever comforted you
No.
for what you were going through. So I really do want to do that for you. I can just imagine you being in your home, and I think you mostly get a stomach ache. Is that right?
I just feel overwhelmed and scared, and I just shut down. I just kind of freeze. I don't even want to lean in. I don't want to move.
So it's kind of like when you get overwhelmed, you just sort of tighten up and...
I tighten up, and I just...
Can't think?
I can't even talk. I can't think. I'm confused. My mind spins. I can't even think what day it is.
So, okay, so like I said, I was 7. probably when I was standing in front of Ellen and she was doing that. What do you think
I feel a little too. I mean, it feels just like I did when I was 8 years old, and I'd watch Mom and Dad. I don't feel a whole lot different right then than, at 30 something. I don't feel a whole lot different than when I did when I was 8.
So I guess we have to help each other comfort those places and grow up in those places, huh?
Yeah, I guess we do.
All right, I think we can do that.
Okay.
Right.
So that's how you take real-time discussions going around that comfort circle, and you can do that with your kids. I've held all my kids at different ages, even my adult girls a couple of times when they were adults. I'd hold them just like that, and they'd cry, and then we'd sit together, even Kay and I. And just to be able to do that, my 24-year-old taught her husband before they got married how to do holding times. And so they have this capacity to connect, talk, dialogue, and comfort. So, but to be able to do that with our children, even if they're 2 years old, 3 years old, 5, 6, 7, and to hold our kids when they're upset, and sometimes not talk, just sit, hold them, rock, and then they settle down, and then you can look at them and you can have some of the greatest talks you've ever had in your life when you hold a child like that. But if you never were parented like that, it won't even cross your mind that this is an option for guiding and the development of your child. Kate, do you have any closing thoughts before we turn it over to
Just one closing thought.
Linda?
I'm working with a couple right now that probably took holding time more seriously than any couple I ever worked with. And they were uncomfortable with dialoguing at first, so they just decided they would do holdings a couple times a week, but without talking. And so one time their kids were teenagers watching TV in the family room, and they went into the living room, and the husband was holding the wife like that. And the son walked by to get something from the kitchen, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, sis, come in here and look at this. What are you doing?" And they said, "Oh, well, we learned this in counseling, and, it's just a nice way to nurture each other." And the mom said, "I love it." And so the daughter came in, and they sort of laughed at the parents, but I said, "That is so cool that you guys were in the space where your kids were," because I said, what a great example for them. What they're learning is that Mom and Dad can nurture each other in a way that really isn't sexual and has nothing to do with sex. It's just about comforting and nurturing and being with each other. And I said, I think that probably built a lot of security in your kids, even though they're making fun of it. As a teenager, you have to make fun of it, right? So I know we haven't had a lot of time for questions, so we'll certainly be available after our time today to entertain any questions you have. And we loved being here. We love this church, and thank you for giving us your time and being willing to grow. And remember, there's no such thing as a perfect parent, only a growing parent. That's right.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Linda.